Welcome to your first Gravity Sketch onboarding room. In this series, we'll teach you different tools so you can begin your 3D creation journey. Each room contains video guides and activities so you can practice as you follow along. If you complete all videos and activities in the 5 rooms, you will be granted a Gravity Sketch Designer certification, which can be obtained through Credly and sent directly to your landing pad email. You can pause, rewind, and adjust the volume of these videos at any time. To do this, reach out with your dominant hand and use the index trigger to press the pause button, change the volume, or drag the playback slider here. First, let's make sure you've selected your correct dominant hand. Your dominant hand, or the hand you typically use to draw with, is the controller with the translucent gray grab sphere around it here. To switch handedness, tap the bottom of your controllers together like this. Now switch back. Holding your controllers out in front of you, you'll see we have our grab triggers on the interior of our controllers. At the top of our controllers, we have our index triggers. On the face of your controllers, you have a variety of buttons and a thumbstick on each one. Now let's learn to move around our space. Take your non-dominant hand and squeeze down the grab trigger. If I pull my controller toward me while holding down the grab trigger, I will move forward. If I push it away from me, I'll move backwards. I can also move up, down, left, and right. Rotating your hand while holding down the grab trigger will rotate you in the room. Now, to continually move forward, notice how I gesture out in front of me, press down on that grab trigger in my non-dominant hand, and then pull towards myself. Then I'll let go and repeat the same action. This applies to moving in any direction you please. If this is your first time in VR, we recommend turning on our vertical lock feature. You can access vertical lock by pressing the blue general menu button, then going to the settings icon, then to sketching aid. Select the icon with the arrow pointing up here. When vertical lock is selected, you'll be locked in an upright position. Feel free to switch back if you're more comfortable with it off. Now press the blue menu button to remove the menu again. Once we've got the hang of moving around, let's navigate through the hoops to the right of you. Notice how I proceed with that same action that we just learned. Once you've made it over to the next stage, we'll learn about the next part of navigation, which is scaling. Welcome to your first Gravity Sketch onboard. Great job thus far. Now let's learn to scale, which is how we make ourselves larger or smaller relative to our environment. If you squeeze both grab triggers together, you will enter scaling mode. While holding these triggers, move your hands together to make yourself larger, or pull your hands apart to make yourself smaller. As you scale, you will see a percentage in between your controllers. If you do not see this percentage, press the blue menu button on your non-dominant hand. From here, go to the settings, then to preferences. Please make sure you have toggled scale snap to percentage. Once the percentage option is selected, press the blue button again to remove the menu. When scaling, a larger percentage indicates that you are 100% equals 1-to-1 scale with your surrounding environment. We can use scaling up to help us navigate around a room quickly. Notice how when I scale up, I can move over large distances. Now notice, when I scale down, I can view models more closely and interact with precision. Now take a moment to scale down and review this model of a bike. Go ahead and pause the video to explore to see if you can find the hidden golden banana within the bike. Alright, now that we've got scaling nailed down, come and join me on the navigation challenge to the right. We are going to scale ourselves down to the correct size to enter the first hoop. Now you'll notice as I continually move forwards, it's taking me ages to get to the next hoop. To move over quickly, simply scale up to around 50%, and I can make it over in just one go. Now try it out for yourself, and I'll see you at the last stage. Let's learn how to control objects in Gravity Sketch. To interact with an object in a room, let's learn how to control a bubble to the inside of your dominant hand controller here. If you reach out and intersect the snowball here with that grab sphere, you'll notice both your grab sphere and the outline of the snowball will turn red. Now if you squeeze and hold your grab trigger on your dominant hand, you can pick up the snowball and move it by moving your controller. As soon as you let go of the grab trigger, you'll release the object. Next, let's try scaling the snowball. First, grab the snowball, then while holding it, squeeze down the grab trigger on your non-dominant hand and move your controllers closer and then further apart. If you move your hands apart as though you're stretching the object, it will get larger, and if you move them close together, it will get smaller. You can use the buttons on the face of your dominant hand controller to perform further interactions with objects. Now grab the snowball and follow along. First, you can duplicate objects by pulling down the index trigger on your dominant hand. Each time you pull that index trigger, it will create a duplicate. Now that you have multiple snowballs, you can pick up any objects intersecting the grab sphere at the moment you squeeze that grab trigger. Sometimes you may want to grab lots of objects or may need more control to grab a single object in a complex sketch. You can control the size of your grab sphere to suit your needs by pressing up on the thumbstick of your dominant hand to make it larger, or pushing down to make it smaller. To clear some space in front of you, you can also delete objects by grabbing them and then pressing the red delete button. If you delete something by mistake, make sure you aren't holding any objects and then press the red button to undo your previous action. The red button acts as undo when you aren't holding an object and delete when you are. Notice how the icons switch accordingly. If you want to change the color of an object, pick it up and then squeeze and hold on the color wheel button in your dominant hand. This is a bit of a tricky one. Remember to hold down both the grab trigger to hold the object and hold down the color wheel to keep the color menu up. Hover over the color wheel with your picker and notice how you can change the shade of the color by pressing the color menu in or pulling it out. Now select the color by pressing that index trigger. Once you've selected the color, you can choose from a list of materials on the right hand side of the menu using that index trigger. On this menu, you can also access your most recently used material and color combinations through the quick access menu below, as well as toggle the transparency slider here. If the view of your color menu is obstructed, you can also pull the color menu into a different location by adjusting to the side with your dominant hand controller, like this. Now practice what you've learned so far by assembling a dune buggy using the faded ghost lines as a guide. Some of the objects will need scaling to the correct size, and remember you can always delete or duplicate parts depending on how many you need. Feel free to watch as I demonstrate how to do the activity. Now if you finish, you're ready to move on to the next training room where we'll show you how to use your creation tools to begin 3D sketching. To exit this room, rotate your wrist on your non-dominant hand to bring up the exit to lobby icon and select it. See you in the next room.